Hi, welcome back. The timing and domestication of dogs are both uncertain. Genetic evidence suggests that dogs split from their wolf ancestors between 27,000 and 40,000 years ago. Now, this process is what is known as genetic divergence, defined as the process in which two or more populations of an ancestral species accumulate independent genetic changes through time, often leading to reproductive isolation and continued mutation. In fact, the oldest burial of a dog is from 14,200 years ago, and that suggests dogs were indeed taken as pets in those days. If you met some otherworldly entity and this entity asked you to define what's a dog, how would you do it? The thing is, I'm certain that all of us have seen dogs and can identify one. But what about defining one? That's a big joke, right? It's easy. A dog is basically a domesticated descendant of the wolf. It's derived from the Pleistocene wolf, and the modern wolf is, in fact, the nearest living relative. The fact is, dogs were the first species to be domesticated by hunters and gatherers over 15,000 years ago, before the development of agriculture, or the so-called agrarian revolution. Now, due to their long association with humans, dogs have expanded to a large number of domestic individuals and gained the ability to thrive on a starch-rich diet that would be adequate for other carnivores. And one such breed is indeed the Cocker Spaniel type, a dog that we are about to meet in this episode. It's a dog that Professor Gutenberg of Humboldt University loves and keeps as a pet. The English Cocker Spaniel is a breed of gun dogs. It is noteworthy for producing one of the most varied number of puppies in a litter among all dogs. The English Cocker Spaniel is an active, good-natured sporting dog, standing well up at the withers and compactly built. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to proceed from where I left in the previous episode. This is Victor, the author of the File Soldier series. And this is Survive, the first book of the File Soldier series. A Cocker Spaniel wagged its tail between its legs with an astonishing curiosity. Professor Wilhelm Gutenberg united a German prickly nose with a shining forehead that suspended a grey tuft of improperly growing hair. A delightful single-blessedness in deductive reasoning that nature should possibly have held credible to my penetration. Slowly, my former fears of the unknown crept back into me, and as the frost bit my skin to submission, I resolved not to exercise my tongue much, lest I should prematurely lose my interest with regards to embracing this intriguing scheme. We turned right, essayed for the parking lot. "John, this is it," said Miles, shrugging his shoulders and looking at his watch. I flung forward and stretched out. "Over there," Jake pointed. This was the southern section of the campus, Dutzenden Quartel 66A. Out stepped Miles, Jake, and the quiet one. A slight bustle at the lot recalled me to myself. My eyes peered at every inch of space. We walked, I observed. The hallway security lamps scarcely found audience sufficient enough to torch. The motion sensors never gave up. A dull and damp 4 o'clock ticked. The fog drove me nuts. This unpleasant walk took us 10 minutes. 2 female students who had shown relentless manifestations of carnal interest in Miles accompanied us to Unter den Linden 5A. With nothing left to which Dawson could have appealed against this feminine accompaniment, the man kept on turning in my direction as though he sought to know whether I approved the magnitude of such deliberations. It was 4:25 a.m. already. On arriving at the doorstep to Prof's house, I noticed a slight hesitation on the part of my captors to ring the bell. "I'll do it," I said, following a train of thought. Stepping forward, I pressed to call. "Impressive," said Jake, thrusting his hand onto a side pocket for a cigarette. I pressed again, twice. "Trust me," said Miles. "He's worth much more than you can imagine." 3 times I pressed. "Sorry guys, I confirmed. My case, my way." The confounding stares and utterances these fellows hurled at me told much about the objects of the imminent misgivings I had to effect for money and survival. With the air of urgent necessity to confirm my station, I stared back and reassured I had to do it my way. That didn't augur well with Jake. The man exploded, motioned me not to speak again. "Insubordination," he said. "God, you're such a kiddo. Don't let me slowly want to box you." For a moment I thought he'd spring and dash out my brains. Absurd, but I would play along Jake. I calmed down with his nerves. "Don't make your own snares, sir. I spent 9 years in Boston protecting you." The stroke of genius in that statement could have confounded the hardiest of recruits. To me, that didn't. Spontaneous strokes of negative energy and nerve had to be mitigated. Blunt emotion was prerequisite. "Gentlemen," said Miles, "let's not start screwing up. This is my chance. This is my last chance. You screw up, I'm a dead man walking." Additional intel, the man was on a short leash. "See this guy, John?" said Jake, stooping lower. I turned, looked about the man with the strangest air. This man has lost everything, has nothing else to lose. Under the tutelage of one Mr. Jake Daniel, that would be enough motivation of a man if my spirit was headache to vent the depths of his anguish on me. "First lesson, Mr. Daniels," I said. "Pay me the respect which my exalted position now demands." What was his name again? I must admit I felt a little apprehensive. "Mr. Bench," he said. "First lesson on my part. Pay attention, sir." The door opened with a slight screech, and there came a faint buzz of the whistling weed that swept a strong smell of tobacco and gasoline right into the room. A passing glance at Mr. Bench revealed a man, if you may, who had spent 5 years in the STM facility in Kudus and further 2 in a radiation camp in Saigon. The kind of man who would yield exceeding satisfaction from breaking eye sockets. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with that I come to the end of my today's episode. Please hit the subscribe button below to support the channel. Goodbye up until the next one.